Hello and welcome to Stamp with Julie Baum. Today I'm very happy to show you a card tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to make this adorable bookbinding card with the bunny in the rain. Let me tell you a few things before we get started. You will be able to find this stamp set in the January to April 2023 mini catalog. The stamp set looks like this, and it has not only that cute bunny, but it has the fox and the turtle and the other adorable images that you see there. There's also some coordinating designer series paper, and I'm double checking the name of it because I want to call it the wrong thing. As I said, the stamp set is called Playing in the Rain. The paper is called Rain or Shine, and it is a package of 12 by 12, and I will be using paper from that packet. All right, also because it's January of 2023, Celebration is on. So not only this month, but next month as well. And if you're unfamiliar with how Celebration works, I'll tell you briefly that it is a way to earn free items. There are products shown in this little brochure that you can choose for free with a $50 purchase, and other items that you can choose for free with a $100 purchase. So it's a great time to do some shopping, stock up on things that you need, and earn a free product while you're at it. I do have a current host code, and that is right here. This host code will be good on my site through the end of January. So if you don't already order through another demonstrator and you'd like to place a product order, I do invite you to do so at my site. Here's the host code, and I'll put lots of information in the description box below this video. All right, let's get started. This card was one that we made at Stamp Club this month. So if you're a member of Stamp Club and you're wanting to review how the projects were made, this is a great way to do it. And if you are not part of Stamp Club and you're just tuning in for a card tutorial, then welcome to you as well. I've altered this one a little bit so that way the gals who did come to Stamp Club can see a second version, but I will show you the one that we made actually at Club. All right, so I am beginning with a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock. This measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I have scored and folded it at 5 1/2. It's also scored at 7 inches. All right, so 5 and 7. Both of those folds will get folded. One folds back and one folds in. So the card is going to be sealed in this area. This style of card is commonly known as a bookbinding style. So we're going to go ahead and do that right off the bat, and then we will get to our stamping and putting the card together. So for this, I'm going to use my tear and tape. I really want to make sure that this portion of the card stays securely shut all the time, even when the card goes through the mail and is open and shut several different times. We don't want this coming apart. So I'm going to use my tear and tape. I will use a long strip all along the edge in this area, and a second one right next to this crease. Now you could also add a piece here and here. I kind of think that's overkill, so I'm not going to, but if you want to add extra adhesive, you're welcome to. All right, so I'm just going to give that a good press so that it sticks well to my cardstock, and then peeling off the backing. And now I'm going to go ahead and seal that area shut. I will use my, my bone folder. Let me find it. And give not only that fold or that crease a good press, but also all those areas that have the adhesive. The tear and tape is in there, and I just want to stick it. Okay, so there's our bookbinding fold portion all sealed up. Okay, then I'm going to take a piece of that Rain or Shine designer series paper. The papers in this packet are absolutely beautiful. At first glance, it could be one of those packets that you think, oh, it's kind of cute, but I don't know that I have to have it. Until you have seen it, touched it, used it, you are going to love it. This particular print which is very hard to see on camera, has a little bit of a shimmer to it and also some texture to it. It's just lovely. So we're going to attach this piece. It is 3 3/4 inches across by 4 inches. I'm going to use my liquid glue to attach it to the front of the card. You do want to take a little bit of care and make sure that your raindrops are not upside down. I don't know why my eyeballs have such a hard time with this, but often I don't notice. I kind of just look at them as drops, and I don't really pay attention to the fact that they should be smaller or narrower at the top and then bigger at the bottom. So in case you're like me and you tend to get your drops upside down, make sure before you glue that your raindrops are going in the correct direction. Okay, another thing, here's a little strip from that same packet, Rain or Shine. And it can be a little bit deceiving because the umbrellas on this print go every which way. So you might think that there's no direction to the paper, but as one of my Stamp Club members pointed out, thank you, Jackie, there are raindrops on here, and so they are going in a certain direction as well as the little puddle under that umbrella. So although if you put it on here, it might not be noticeable, you might want to take 2 seconds and once again note the direction of those drops. Okay, so we're going to attach this piece. This is 1 1/4 inches by 4 inches, and my rain is falling from the sky, so I've got that in the right direction. All right, so I've just kind of centered that little strip up in this area, centered this piece in that area, and now we're going to move on. I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 3 3/4 inches by 4 inches. This is going to be the inside panel to my card. And then I have another piece. This is just a scrap. We're going to use that for 2 different things. And I've taken a piece of basic white cardstock, and I already used the, these are the dies that coordinate with color and contour. The dies themselves, I think, are called Scalloped. I will have to look. I will write the correct name in the description, but it does coordinate with that color and contour. I'm just using one of the smaller rectangles that I pre-cut. All right, this one kind of looks a little munched. I don't know what happened between the time I prepared it and started filming, but we're not going to worry about it. Okay, on this piece, I'm going to stamp my bunny. And side note, if you would rather take a scrap and stamp the bunny first and then put it through with your die to cut it out, that's totally allowed. There's no rules about this. You can stamp first and then die cut, or you can die cut first. Now, sometimes I will point out that it does make a difference, just in the ease of putting the project together. But in this instance, it really doesn't make any difference. So you choose. I went ahead and die cut. I'm going to take my black ink pad and I'm going to ink the rabbit up this way. Just a little helpful hint. This block, which happens to be an E block, is quite a large one, and it can be a little bit awkward in your hand to hold on to the block and then walk it across your Memento black ink pad to get it inked up. So because of the size of the block, I'm choosing to reverse the process. So stamp down, black ink pad in hand, and I'm just going to ink it up this way. If you don't have any problem holding that size block and inking it the typical way, then that is great. Just do that. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit lower than center on my shape here because the bunny and the puddle are kind of the main area, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the top for some raindrops. So I've got this dropped on my white piece a little bit below center. All right, I'm going to give that a good press. It is a large stamp. Typically, the larger the stamp, the more pressure that you're going to need to apply. I'm going to give a second for that black ink to soak in to my paper. All right. Now, I've left a little bit of space up there, so I'm going to put some raindrops there. I'm using Balmy Blue, and I'm going to tuck a scratch piece of paper underneath the top of this, just to catch any stamping off that's going to occur. Same thing, my friends, with these raindrops. Just double check that they're going the correct direction before you start stamping, or they will look upside down. All right, so I'm just going to put a couple of these drops. It's just a light shower on my bunny. Okay, now I'm going to color the bunny. So I'll talk you through how I chose to do it. And then when we get to the other card that we made at Club, we used the fox at Stamp Club. So I will tell you the colors that I used to color the fox image as well. So I am starting with Balmy Blue, and I'm going to use both the light and the dark. So the first thing I'm going to do is color my petal. And one thing that was just kind of the way it happened to work, this is my light Balmy Blue, and the brush end is getting a little bit worn out. So it's working to my advantage because I'm getting a little bit of a blotchy look, and that's exactly what I want for my petal. So if you have a nice brand new marker and the brush tip is working great, you will want to take a little bit of care and just dab in some color. I don't think the petal should be colored in completely. All right, so there's a little bit of the Balmy Blue light, and then I'll use Balmy Blue dark and just add the accent right where the artist who created this piece did it. You can see those little lines are there for you, super helpful. And then I'm also going to put a little shadow under the bunny's foot. I think it might be a little darker there. Okay, next I'm going to do the jacket. So I'm going to color the whole jacket with Daffodil Delight, and I'm using dark. I pulled all of the colors that I'm using from the designer series paper. Now I say that because there is an exception. In the DSP, the yellow that's in there, the orangey yellow, is Mango Melody. Well, there is no Mango Melody Stampin' blends. So in order to get the raincoat to kind of mimic a Mango Melody, this is what I did. So I colored the whole jacket with my dark Daffodil Delight, and then I'm bringing in my light Pumpkin Pie to put my shadowing. And I think his collar needs to be dark. I think with the combination of the Daffodil Delight and this Pumpkin Pie, you can see as it's starting to come together, it's going to begin to mimic the color of Mango Melody. Here's our designer series paper. You can see the Mango Melody color. So by adding this Pumpkin Pie, it's kind of tricking our eye to think that this is more of an orangey yellow instead of that bright daffodil yellow. All right, so that is a little tip if you want to get that color to be more closely matched with the designer series paper. Okay, for the bunny's nose, I'm using Flirty Flamingo Light. And then I thought of several different ways to do the bunny, but I'm just going to go with let's see, which gray did I choose? Smoky Slate. I will use light, and I'm not going to color the entire image of the bunny in. So I'm going to do a little outline on the ear and on those little detail marks. You'll see I'm not outlining every single area because I kind of want the bunny to mostly look white, but I don't want to leave it uncolored where it looks a little unfinished. So I'm sparsely adding this light gray in a couple areas where there might be some shadow. I will go ahead and color the hands or paws. And then on the bunny's legs, I'm going to put a little line here where I think there would be some shadow underneath the jacket and the feet. So again, I'm using my gray very sparingly. But I do want a little color. So if you glance at it, you still think of it as a white bunny, but it doesn't look like it. I ignored it and did not color at all. All right, now this is totally extra. I have a very fine point black marker. And so I like to use this for some of the details. So on this bunny, I'm gonna do it. If you don't have a really, really, really fine tipped marker, you can skip this, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do. This, I don't even know. I probably got it on Amazon. It's a micron 03 is the size, 03. And with it, I'm just going to exaggerate the eyelashes a teeny bit, the eyebrow. So I'm basically going over what was already there. These little dots, which probably have a technical term on a rabbit. I think they look like freckles. And then I'm just gonna hit the underside of the mouth here where it's a little bit darker. So it didn't make a huge difference. It didn't change it, but it did add a little bit of color and accent. So that's what I wanted to do. I'm gonna go back to my gray and hit this little accent that I missed. There we go. Okay, so now our bunny is done. All right, with a wink of Stella, I added just a little bit of shimmer to the puddle. This is different than what we did at Club. I will talk you through that card in just a moment. All of the basics are the same. I just changed the image on this tutorial to show you another idea. Okay, we're gonna attach this to the front of the card. Liquid glue will hold nicely. All right, so I'm kind of centering this between my right and left margins of the Designer Series paper, here and here, and I'm eyeballing the top and the bottom, just getting it as centered as I can without actually measuring anything. I'm gonna flip this over and give it a press, just in case I have anything on my fingers. I don't want to smear or make any kind of a mark on that bright white cardstock. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to add some words and some embellishments to the top or to the front of this. Let's go ahead and do the inside of the card though, and then we'll come back and finish that up. All right, so for the inside panel, I chose to stamp the umbrella image in this corner, color it with my Balmy Blue light, which only takes a second. It's just a couple of swipes of color. I'm going to take dark and accent those little detail lines. And then I'm going to go back to my light and just put a couple of splotches on the ground. I feel like if this had been used outside, there might be a little bit of water on the ground. Okay, a way to finish the inside of this nicely would be to use Rainy Days or Better With You and just stamp it on the inside of the card. That's a great way to complete the inside. I'm going to take it one different direction. So instead, I'm going to stamp the words on my scrap. And then we do have a cloud punch that is currently available in the annual catalog. So I'm going to use the cloud punch to punch that out. And then just to give it a little dash of color, I'm going to take a sponge dauber and my Balmy Blue ink pad and put a little bit of color. Now, sponging seems to be trendy. Sponging kind of comes and stays for a while, and then it cycles out and you kind of forget about sponging. So if you haven't sponged the edge of something, or it's been a while, here's a little reminder. Pick up a little bit of color on your sponge or on your sponge dauber, and then you're going to scrape like in a downward motion on the edge of the die cut. Okay, this look that I prefer is a very soft hint of color. So you can see I am scraping from top to bottom, and it's just leaving behind a little bit of color. Now I'm gonna finish this, but before I do, I'm gonna show you why I'm telling you this. Sometimes in class, I will see students scraping this way on the cardstock, which is fine. That's a beautiful look, but you'll see that it's much darker and it stands out a lot more. So if you want a subtle look, you're going to scrape up and down on the edge of the paper. If you want a bigger, bolder look, you're going to swipe across the paper. Okay? All right. Finishing this. A lot of ink remains on that sponge, so you only have to re-dab maybe once or twice to get all the way around. And you'll see once we put this on here, that little hint of color just around the edge. All right, so let's attach that. A little bit of liquid glue on here. If you were just stamping the words and not doing the cloud punch, you could stamp them anywhere you want. Maybe more towards the center would be appropriate. I felt like because it was on a cloud, it should be up higher on the card. Okay, and this piece is going to go on the inside. And then we'll finish the front. I adjusted some of the things in my office this week, and I kind of moved some of my crafting workspace and my sewing workspace and my office workspace. I kind of did a little shuffle, and the only thing I'm finding right this minute is my camera here, up here, is coming in from my right shoulder where I used to have it over my left shoulder. So I have found that I've bumped it a couple times. So sorry for the jiggling camera. I'm trying to get used to it being in that new position. Doesn't a refresh of your space feel good? Oh my goodness, I did so much purging and organizing as I was switching things around. It felt really good. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can fit, I wanna know if the scrap is big enough. Let me see if my punch is gonna fit. It's gonna be tight. I'm gonna need a bigger scrap. So give me 1 second while I reach just outside of camera view and I grab a white cardstock scrap. I feel like there should be like a timer clock, like on Jeopardy, when that happens. Okay, I am back. I've got a larger scrap, so this is going to be easier to show you. All right, I'm using the words "Oh Happy Day," also still from this same stamp set. I'm going to stamp in Flirty Flamingo, which is one of the colors in our designer series paper. And then at this point, I'm punching a circle. Lots of our circle punches that have been available over the years, of course, have retired. But I'm sure that you already have many circle punches in your collection and or dies. So just find whatever shape you can use with a punch or a die to punch this out. I'm using a very old 1 3/8 circle punch, which seems to be a good size. And this is going to go on with a couple of dimensionals. So I'll just do kind of a triangle shape. I'll use 3, and I think that will hold nicely and also keep it from sinking anywhere. All right, getting rid of those backings. So this could go a couple of places. So placement is up to you. I'm going to put it up here in this corner, just making sure that I don't affect the fold right there. Yeah, I'm going to just leave it, the word's straight and it's clear from the fold, so it doesn't affect that. And now some embellishments. I'm really, really liking these pastel adhesive backed sequins. When you get these, there are 2 sheets in the pack. They have kind of a gold, a pinkish white, or a opalescent, and a blue. And there's 1 sheet that are smaller size sequins and 1 sheet that are larger. All right, so in this instance, I'm going to use the blue ones. I'll show you the other card, the one from Club, and we used the white. So I'm really happy that you're getting to see a couple of different versions of the same card. All right, so I've got one that I want to put here with the words. And then as I'm thinking through where my other two are going to go, I'll probably do one up here somewhere and one down here. Again, kind of creating an elongated triangle to your eye. All right. And I'm going to put this one right here in the corner of the white. I think that'll be nice. All right, so give those a good press. The adhesive is nice and sticky, but you do want to press it so it makes good contact with the paper. And there you have it. There is our Bunny in the Rain, Oh Happy Day card. Rainy days are better with you. Now let me bring in the one that was actually made at Club, which is very close to this one. We used the fox, and so that one looks like this. The elements are the same. The paper sizes are exactly the same. The die cut is exactly the same. On the fox, I did the umbrella in those two colors to mimic the Mango Melody. I used Daffodil Delight Dark, and I used Pumpkin Pie Light to create that Mango Melody-ish color on the umbrella. And on this particular card, we added Wink of Stella to the umbrella. Okay, and then the jacket was in Balmy Blue, Light and Dark, and the fox is in Cajun Craze, Light and Dark. I pulled in the word hello from another new stamp in the mini catalog. That is from this set called Happy Labels. So I pulled in that hello stamp. But for today's card, everything that we used stamp-wise was all from this one set. All right, and then the inside of the card that was made at Club is the same. So there you have it, two super sweet, adorable little cards with critters in a rainstorm. Do be sure and open the description box below this video where I put lots of great information for you. And if you haven't subscribed, I do really invite you to do that. I would love for you to subscribe and click the notification bell so that each time that I post a new video to YouTube, you will be sure and get a notification. Thank you for watching. Happy stamping. See you next time.